Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree, and I am a transgender woman who talks about all things horror. And today I'm talking about a movie that you've probably never seen, most likely never heard of, called Evil Speak. So, alright. This movie is Ron Howard's brother, and I think it's Clint Howard. So here's the gist. There's a satanic cult. They do a satanic ritual. The Catholic priests show up and kill the cultists, and then, or excommunicate them or whatever. And then we fast forward to the future, which is present day, where there's a military academy. I'm guessing it's a Catholic run military academy, um, built on top of, I don't know, the tombs or whatever of the cult, I guess. So you have this. It's a it's a bully kid story, it's an outcast who is getting bullied. He's an outcast because he's an orphan, which is stupid. And also he's only in the academy because some quote meddling senator passed some regulation or whatever that said they had to have an outreach program, which pisses off the administrators of the school, who make it very clear they don't want this kid here. It is a product of its time, so you're going to see child abuse. I'm going to give you a fair warning right now. Now, what's interesting is because this is a rare example of witchcraft, not witchcraft, but satanic rituals, and which I'm okay with. I'm okay if it's a satanic ritual, as long as they say they're actual devil worshippers and they're not trying to pass them off as pagans or witches, but they're like, no, we're devil worshippers. This is a devil worshipping cult. This is not pagans. So I'm okay with this. Um, but it's a rare, rare example of technomancy. He's doing the ritual. He's doing the spell, if you will, to summon the evil, whatever evil it is, using a computer, which does not happen very often. It's usually an ancient book and candles and sacrifices, which that stuff's all here. But the computer, which is, I'm going to say, possessed, is teaching him how to do the ritual. We get a lot of bullying scenes, which can be triggering for people, so I'm going to give you that fair warning. A lot of it. And we get a lot of him being bullied by the administrators, basically, and being punished for just being different. Literally being punished for being an orphan. That's his crime. His crime is his parents died. So fuck this movie. My dad was an orphan, so fuck this movie. That being said, this movie has pros and cons. The pros: the evil stuff is interesting. It's very occult. It's very it's very anti-Catholic, satanic. So it's definitely like actual satanic devil worshippers, not pagans being branded as devil worshippers. Let me make that be clear, which I kind of respect. Also, the technomancy aspect is very intriguing because you don't see that ever in horror movies. Like, hardly ever. I don't know, maybe you could argue there might be some modern movies I'm not going to get into that you could argue are probably in that realm. Um, but I'm not gonna talk about them right now. We're talking about EvilSpeak. Now, this movie has a couple of subplots. One of them is, I don't know, somebody, I don't know who she is, a journalist or whatever, being given a tour of the facility, which is where we get all our exposition. This is obnoxious. There is like 30 fucking minutes of non-stop exposition. It's obnoxious. And we have a lot of scenes that are just nothing. Like literally nothing. He's looking at the computer. or he's looking out the window, or um, just fucking the janitor is being weird because he lost his tool, and I don't even remember what tool it was. It didn't stick in my mind. I don't know if it was a crow. Was it a crowbar? Whatever. He lost a. Was it a crowbar? Whatever. He lost a tool, and then the kid is obviously using the tool. So the plot, if you want to call it that, is basically the kid um, didn't leave an impression on his teacher. I whatever. So his teacher sends him to the detention for being an orphan. That's his crime. And the bullies are bullying him for being an orphan. Remember, that's his crime. And the school administrator literally bends him over and beats his ass with a stick for being an orphan and basically tells him to shape up and stop being an orphan. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Literally, this movie is pissing me off as I watch it. Because he's done nothing wrong. He's literally done nothing fucking wrong at all. And he's not even a nerd. And there's an actual nerd in the bully group and a fat kid in the bully group. And it's like, why aren't they bullying them? It doesn't make sense because he's not a nerd. He's not an outcast. He's not a dork. He's just a regular kid whose only sin is being an orphan. But the movie does turn it around, and after he summons the evil, oh, he gets his revenge. Which I'm down. I'm here for that. I'm like, yes, payback's a bitch, motherfucker. And this movie's got a damn good payback scene. The payoff is at the end of the movie. Now you have to sit through a lot of really slow paced, really boring scenes with literally nothing happening to get to the payoff. So it's a slow paced movie, and that annoys me sometimes. I do not have the attention span or the patience for slow paced movies unless you like really hook me early on and give me something to hold my attention, which this movie doesn't, because half the time I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're being dicks just because he's an orphan. And the other half the time I'm like, I don't even know what's going on because literally nothing is happening. Is it a good movie? Your mileage may vary, but I will say it's intriguing. The technomancy stuff is a plus. The fact that it's an actual satanic cult and not pagans being branded as satanic is a plus. The payoff at the end is damn good. Um, so you have a good movie in there hiding underneath this really boring plot that doesn't make sense. That's just like, all right, whatever, kid. And it ends with a really good. It's got a good ending. I'll give it that. Not necessarily a hook for a sequel because this movie was never, ever, ever going to get a sequel. And if it did, I'm flabbergasted. Um, it's not a bad movie. Now, I'm going to rate it a buy because this is one of those movies you've probably never heard of. And it's just good enough that you're going to say, you know what? This is different. And that I will give it marks for being different. This is not anything you've seen before. Not necessarily. You've seen this story before. It's Christine. It's Christine. It's the same fucking movie, but it's done with a computer instead of a car. So it's like somebody said, let's take Christine, let's take Weird Science, and let's see what happens when we give them a baby. That's what this movie is. It's if Christine and Weird Science had a baby. That's this movie. The baby is deformed, and I will say mentally handicapped and very confusing and just is obnoxious with the exposition. If you can look past those things, there's still a decent movie that you're going to watch and say, yeah, this is something I've never seen before. This is interesting because this is not This movie is not what you think it is when you go into it, because you're expecting just another, whatever, find a book, summon the Deadites, and then turn them on your enemies, kind of. That's what you're expecting. That's not this. It almost is, but it's not quite. Now, I have to point this out. I do not understand the title, EvilSpeak, because it's a computer doing all the talking. So, shouldn't it have been called Technomancy or Evil Computer or, I don't know, something? I don't know. The title's misleading, but it works because you literally go into this movie, you don't know what you're going to get. And what you get is something you're not expecting. And that's a pleasant surprise. I enjoyed it. Now, when I did my live stream, or not my live stream, my bonus commentary, which if you watch, you can go to patreon.com/Stephanie Bree. I did skip forward a lot because there's some boring scenes in this movie. Where's nothing happening. You're just like, tap the plus 10 seconds. Nope, nothing happened. 10 more seconds, nothing happened. You can skip through quite a bit of this movie. If you're down for the pacing, if you're here for the suspense, which it's not very suspenseful, the suspense part doesn't work for me, but often it doesn't. I'm just not, that's not my flavor, But this was an enjoyable experience, and I want to thank the person who recommended it to me. It was not what I thought I was going to get, so it was definitely different. And I give it high marks for being different because I have never seen a movie like this. And I don't know if there are other movies like this. So kudos to that. And it's Clint Howard, you know. I mean, he's cool, I guess.